see you on the street and you walk on by. Make me wanna hang my head down and cry. If you gave me half the chance, you'd see my desire burning inside of me. You choose to look the other way. I've had to work much harder than this, but something I want, don't try to resist me. Open your heart to me, baby. I hold the lock and you hold the key. Open your heart to me, darling. I'll give you love if you turn the key. Think that you're afraid to look in my eyes. Oh, baby, good and sad, boy, I wonder why. I'll follow you around, but you can't see. But you have to pin yourself to notice. So you choose to look the other way. Well, I've got something to say. Don't try to run, I can keep up with you. Nothing can stop me from trying.
Everybody used to rock with Madonna back in the day. Everybody did. Black, white. Madonna was that chick in the 80s.
Open your heart to me, darling. I'll give you love if you.
And she made good music back then.
Open your heart with the.
Anyway, guys, what is up? What's up? What's going on? This is going to be a straight and concise video. I have been kind of thinking and working on this video, this content. I'm going to make a point at the beginning of this video. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I don't feel that many black people have really been exposed to real, true conservatism. I don't. I think many black people are conservatives themselves, but yeah, I see my Ice Cube might be actually reaching out across the both sides of the aisle, which is smart. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm well within my rights to say I could be wrong about Ice Cube, but it seemed like when he was talking, he was coming from a different perspective. Half that shit he's asking for, he's not going to get, but because it just does not logistically meet where we are as a people to force colleges to let 13% of their enrollment be just black people. That's not going to happen. Not because every college is not going to get that. It's just not going to happen. Not because they're racist, just a lot of people just can't meet the requirements, rigorous academic requirements. And if they do, they're going to be in some shit like psychology or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Which just really ain't going to help black folks. Just going to get them in debt. So that's not how you move the needle forward. Thanks, Ray Gunn. Thank you. Get the likes up. Let me say this, man. Most black people are conservative. If you talk to a black person about fiscal responsibility, they'll all agree 1,000%. They'll agree on abortion. A lot of us, I think more black people are pro-life than 50%. I think black people are like 75% pro-life. A lot of us are. I think a lot of black people are against alphabet stuff, if you know what I mean. Some of that stuff that they are doing, I think black people are against it. Most of us, it is not from a hatred perspective. It's just we still have remnants of the church being the center, and we have certain morals, and we know there is something inherently wrong in teaching children, sexualizing children. We just have an intuitive grasp of that concept. We just don't see something ain't right about teaching a 5-year-old about anal sex. Just something just does not sit right. You know what I'm saying? And we shouldn't. We should feel that way. So many black people on a lot of different areas are conservative. The fiscal conservative issue is big. I, as a black conservative myself, when I say conservative, I'm at the sauna and this older guy. Yeah, you all right. Everybody's face is pro-life until they, unwanted pregnancies. Actually, it's funny you say that. I actually watched a video earlier today about this female who was arguing from a situation of I can't afford it situation. And what gets me about it is you got to understand if my parents tell me not to take their car out joyriding because I can get in an accident, right? I go out, I take the car out joyriding, I get in an accident. It's my fault. Even if somebody hits me, let's say you get hit in the accident. Had you not took the car out, like I told you, your ass you wouldn't be up there in no accident and this shit wouldn't happen. When it comes to talking to women, especially white liberal women about this shit, that is the elephant in the room that nobody ever wants to talk about. You got this child fucking, okay? Let's go ahead and say it like it was. You got this child riding some dick, and you because the overwhelming majority of abortions are for women that's got it recreational fucking. It's not on some. I want to fuck because it feel good, and I'm not worried about the consequences. Niggas shoot up in your condom versus some shit. Now you pregnant. Now the dude is scared, which most kids at a certain most people at a certain age will be frightened. Okay, if you 26, 25, your shit ain't together. You scared. If you get a girl pregnant, if I'd have got a girl pregnant at 25, I'd have been scared as hell. I'm gonna be straight up. You know what I'm saying? That does not warrant the child being killed. And so I'm about to show y'all some very rare, or should I say obscure. Some of y'all gonna know everybody I play. I know that sub. I know you know it. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those people, those black people who really have not been exposed to conservative values. A lot of them haven't. When I say conservative values, I'm talking about conservative thought. When you go to, for example, a college or university, you're playing Russian roulette with your child. If you send your child to a college or a college campus, probably 9 times out of 10, more than 9 times out of 10, your child will be bombarded with anti-God, anti-Christian, anti-conservative values. And your child will your child will come home thinking that you are just out of touch. That's old, that's outdated. Dad doesn't know. I know people who they raised their child in the church, sent their child to AUM, Auburn University in Montgomery. And this diversity, diversity, whatever person that's over diversity, campus diversity, sat there and lectured them every day for a year, their freshman year. By the time that child came home from their freshman year, they were an atheist. They had completely given up their faith. They just completely thought a different way. And the parents were just distraught. I'm telling you right now, I'm warning everybody. If you send your child to a college or university, you have to understand that you're playing Russian roulette, because your child will be bombarded with one lopsided ass viewpoint and the way things are. See, college is supposed to be a marketplace of ideas. It's supposed to be a place where your child can go in and hash out ideas and debate and talk and reason, right? Socratic method, whatever they call it. Don't come in my comment section talking about the Greeks stole this from Egypt. I don't want to hear all that shit. You know what I'm talking about, right? Whatever you call it. Your child goes to these colleges and universities and they get ruined, man. A lot of these people that are out there with Antifa are people that literally were indoctrinated on college campuses for anarchy, for Marxism. This is what it is, guys. This is the reason nobody ever talks about why colleges. Nobody's really on the ass of these colleges that are really fucking people up financially for their futures. You know what I'm saying? Colleges ruin a lot of shit. It just does for a lot of people. Because if you would, like, I'm gonna give you a good example. I got into a knockdown drag out maybe about 7-8 years ago over that Occupy Wall Street shit, right? So I put a post up. I never forget this. This dude went to school with me, and he was like, I put a post up saying, well, your ass went to school. You signed the paperwork saying that you believed that it was okay to go to college. You signed up for the student loan. You chose a stupid major, and now you feel like somebody just should bail you out. because you chose to be irresponsible. You don't want to take responsibility for your actions. You chose to go to college and major in lesbian studies. Like this, you got people literally was saying that shit. I had a video that I posted saying this girl is delusional. And one of my homeboys from college, you can't tell people that. You can't tell people that, that's wrong. You're being callous. You're a typical right-wing conservative. Like, no, responsibility is a hallmark. You guys, let me explain something to you. A lot of shit you learn is because you fuck up. And kids going to school is probably one of the biggest. If you get rid of these college campuses, shit have changed like that overnight. College campuses are the breeding grounds for some of the dumbest motherfuckers you ever want to see. I'm finna show you. Y'all know me. Y'all know me, man. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. So let me show y'all something first. So this is, hold on, that's not it. Let's go to this one. So check this out right here.
College in California is considering
This is Occidental College. This is where President Obama went before he said when he said he was a foreign exchange student. We ain't gonna go there. I can show you documentation where he himself said he was an exchange student. Right? But let's get to it.
Instituting a system for students to report so-called microaggressions perpetrated against them on campus. Microaggressions are statements that intentionally or unintentionally send a negative message related to someone's membership in a marginalized group. We visited campus to ask Occidental students if they agree that the following statements could be considered microaggressions. They've all been documented as such on a college campus somewhere in the United States. Have you heard of the term microaggression?
Yeah, that's a big thing on
This broad dumb as hell. Watch this.
campus. If we see large-scale violence, we can name that as
That's another one. That's another one. Listen to what they're saying now. Listen to this shit.
But the way that
when you see somebody coming up, jumping on somebody, punching somebody, doing some violence, it starts with this stupid shit she's saying. Watch this.
Devalue that violence, the way that we silence that violence, that's a microaggression.
I'm asking an Asian American, where were you born?
Yes.
Very, very contextual, That's not a microaggression. That's just asking where they were born.
Telling a black student that he or she is very articulate.
That is, yeah. Yes.
What about saying all lives matter?
I think because the history behind Black Lives
These campuses want you to report people that say some shit you don't like that hurt your feelings. Listen to this. That's basically what they're saying.
Matter, it's kind of like appropriating a statement that was created specifically to talk about Black lives being lost to
Amen, brother. Amen.
police brutality. So that is.
I'm colorblind. I don't see race.
Possibly.
I believe the most qualified person should get the job.
Qualifications aren't really the only thing you should consider when hiring someone.
If you're saying that the most qualified person is someone who is not a minority, you're not of a religion you believe in, then yes, that'd be a microaggression.
Saying God bless you after somebody sneezes.
Oh, that would be a microaggression.
You can't even say God bless you, brother, when you sneeze. Like this is you wonder where this stupidity comes from. These college campuses. This is somebody else. And what I wanted to do, guys, in this video was really expose people to differing schools of thought. A lot of times as Black people, we get caught in these echo chambers where we only hear one school of thought. Now, Milo Yiannopoulos is supposed to be an alt-right, right-wing extremist. I guarantee you, when you sit down and listen to him, now he gay. So that tell you right there that he's different. See, that's why I don't see, that's why I have a problem with people silencing my channel when I say certain things. I don't have no problem with this guy. He gay, ain't like I hate him. Listen to what he's saying. Got no problem actually liking him. No, you know what, but let's go there. Now, this the guy that Tariq, when I first heard him, Tariq said he was a white supremacist. Listen to him.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I mean, all these things are inherently very entertaining, but we're told that we can't laugh about them because we're offending someone. Oh. Madam, I'm grateful to you for coming, but to be quite honest with you, fuck your feelings.
I like him already, right? Fuck your feelings. I like him already. Check him out.
What's your view on Islam?
As a gay man, I'm very comfortable with Donald Trump's statements, although he made a few different statements with varying degrees of firmness on this subject. I'd be very comfortable with a halt on Muslim immigration. I would wish that had happened in London. It isn't radical Islam, it's Islam that is the problem. That is my view. I don't particularly like the way that European cities are changing. I think Germany is a horror show. I think London has changed dramatically in the last 10 years. And what happens in America matters for everybody else. What happens in America matters most. And I don't want America to go the same way.
Do you consider yourself a white nationalist?
No.
Isn't that what some people would think of when they hear of you don't like the changing face of places like
No, I'm
London,
talking
you
about
don't like
culture,
people
not
like
race.
Muslims coming in?
No, I'm talking.
See, guys, this is the thing. When somebody says a white, listen to these people, man. Listen. I can listen to people who think I'm inferior. I don't have that shit. Don't bother me. Now he hasn't said that, but that's what I'm saying. It's almost like they want to shut down free thought and discussion. No, we need that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they banned him from social media. But I don't have a problem with a lot of the shit he says.
It's typical of someone like the BBC to try to conflate the two because what they want to do.
Well,
what they
Let me go. Let me go.
been
There.
40 years since the Equal
well-
Pay Act, and yet still it is a fact that women do not earn as much as men.
No, I'm sorry, it's not a fact. You
It
can
is.
you can only say that if you take broad brush averages across all industries and all genders, and you can say the amount of money going to women is a bit less.
Well,
It's
that's the
not.
thing
I mean,
is,
it's,
right, like,
for one
let's
thing,
wait and
it's
see what the
illegal
companies
to
look like.
pay a woman less than a man for the
Have a
same.
word.
See, a lot of the shit you hear in the manosphere is really not say they got it from this, but a lot of the data and the facts and shit like that, it actually benefits you to go to these spaces and listen to people like this because it actually arms you with facts. Me buying the book Black Rednecks actually helped me in a myriad of ways. You know what I'm saying? Me buying I can go look at sundown towns and talk about that shit and racial inequality, all that shit and say, yeah, I see what they did, Jim Crow. Then I can turn around and swing the pendulum this way and actually get a clearer understanding because see, your media is 90%, 99% liberal. Watch this.
Nick, interrupt him, Nikki. Go on.
Yeah, to say, let's,
It's illegal to pay a woman.
That's
for-
the case. That's the case.
let
So
her
when
have a
these results are published, they won't reveal anything. They won't reveal any difference, but they're going to. That's the point.
There you
The whole
go.
reason David Cameron
Let
is
him come back.
encouraging it.
Let him come back.
I want them to be published because what they're going to show is that at all stages, all else being equal, the genders are paid the same. Or even what they might show, you're saying the culture hasn't changed. I think your argument's 20 years out of date. The culture has changed, which is precisely why there are more women going to university, more women graduate from university, they're getting higher grades. They're 2-to-1 favored when they go for job applications, particularly in science and technology. And they're paid more, depending on whose figures you believe, up to the age of 30, 35, or 39. It's probably about 35. Women are paid more than men.
But
So
once they
whatever
reach
gender
work
pay
right,
gap you're
still not
talking
paid.
about has already been fixed.
But it hasn't.
So the
It hasn't.
good,
That's
the good
the
news,
point.
the good news for you
See, this for these black girl magic chicks.
is that there isn't a problem anymore, although there used to be, and that if we do release these figures, which I'm very excited about, they're going to prove me right. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
But that's not true. I mean, the point is that the gap is there still, and older women in particular suffer more from it from younger women. We shouldn't just leave older women, to flounder, should we? Just because they were part of a generation where it was
but
even
I'm
more
making a
difficult for them to
specific
get on.
explanation about where these figures come from, and you haven't really addressed the point that I'm making. What I'm saying is that you can only create this gender gap when you take a broad brush across all genders, all sectors, all work. That doesn't reflect the different choices people make. And employers shouldn't be forced to pay a full-time salary to somebody who works part-time. You haven't come up with a solution to that, and you haven't addressed the problem with the figures, which is that no serious economist treats the gender pay gap as a problem to be solved. No economist thinks this is a problem because they realise what I'm
Is that
explaining.
male economist or female economist, just to be clear?
Well, I mean, where I get most of my figures on this from is from a feminist female academic, Christina Hoff Sommers of the American Enterprise Institute in the US.
He got her right there.
Who looks at the figures from the UK and the US, and she does a broad survey of all economists. I'm sure of all genders, but my source for this sort of stuff is generally Christina Hoff Sommers. So she is a female feminist academic who is mystified that this is this sort of feminist myth that won't die. Like any set of ideas, Islam.
Oh, he about to go off on this one. Watch this.
Islam is like a religion. Any set of ideas, it deserves to be scrutinized. Well, I have scrutinized it, and I have found it wanting. I found it lacking. Everywhere there is Islam, you will find women oppressed. Everywhere there is Islam, you will find.
Now he about to drop facts on top of facts. Watch this.
You're wearing a hijab in the United States of America. What is wrong with you?
See, they shut this dude down when he go to these college campuses because they don't want you hearing differing thoughts. They want you to believe in Marxism and totalitarianism. They do not want you questioning, and because if you did, a lot of people would actually probably be more conservative. Because conservatism just works more efficiently than liberalism and Marxism. It just does.
You see, they want to shout you down by saying, "Oh, what about me? I'm not so oppressed." Well, let's move on from women. If you don't care about female genital mutilation, don't care about forced marriages, don't care about acid thrown in the faces of your Islamic sisters, if you don't care about any of those things, fine. Let's talk about gays instead. In 12 Islamic countries, I could be killed for my sexuality. Is that okay? 100 million people live in countries where it is illegal to be homosexual. All of those countries are Islamic. This is not an ISIS thing. You know, you will see gays being thrown off the roof in ISIS-controlled territories. But this has nothing to do with terrorism. This is mainstream Muslim culture. Your religion does it everywhere your religion exists. It is a threat, an existential threat to gay people. Everywhere in the world there is Islam. You will find women oppressed, homosexuals murdered. You will find gang rape. Now, there's a unique phenomenon that doesn't really exist outside of Islamic cultures, of familial gang rape, where fathers, brothers, and cousins go out raping people together. It happened in Rotherham in the UK. And the liberal establishment in the UK didn't investigate this because, according to a government report, not a far right-wing blog, according to a government report, 1,400 young girls were raped in racially or religiously, as you choose to define it, motivated crimes, because both the police and the authorities were too scared of being called racist to intervene. And this pattern repeats itself everywhere there is mass Muslim immigration. My suggestion to you, America, is that you don't need it here. Learn your lesson from 9/11. Learn your lesson from Orlando. These socially regressive, they walk out when they don't like the facts. These socially regressive attitudes.
Yeah, guys, and I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I don't even have to necessarily agree. What I'm telling you is just to listen to what people are saying and not be so caught up into thinking that other people's ideas are just outright. Because see, when you disqualify somebody's ideas as just racist, it really shuts down thought. Now, I think there are racist people on the right. I ain't no fool. But I listen. I don't just make up shit just to do it. You know what I'm saying? Here's another guy, Charlie Kirk. This is another guy, Turning Point USA. Another guy Tariq can't stand. But I went and listened to this guy. I'm like, well, he's making good points. Like, check this out.
What species is a fetus? So if it's a fetus and it's alive, wouldn't that be a human life? So you're okay with disposing of a human life?
Undeveloped human life that can't sustain itself.
What about people that are clinically mentally retarded? Should we dispose of them? Why? They can't live without function of other individuals.
They're not a parasite.
They're what?
They're not a parasite.
They're not a parasite? Wait, so you think a six...
Brothers, let me say something, man. Any woman that thinks that a child is a parasite, run. Okay? Run. Do not pass go. Don't even sleep with a woman like that. Don't take a risk. You don't want... That woman is Jezebel. When you say that a child is a parasite, I ain't got nothing for you.
This week, fetus is a parasite. So, you know, you were once a 6-week fetus. You were once a 6-week fetus, and I'm glad that your mother decided to have you. Are you? No. You. Okay, life is hard, but if you wish you were aborted.
I don't think the world would be terribly different.
See, this is where you and I totally disagree. I I want you to have the right to life. I'm glad you're alive. You're not. I want more people to live.
I'm alive, and I don't think the world would be terribly different if I didn't exist.
You don't know that. Do you know how many abortions happen? Just do you know how many abortions happen every day?
Every day? No, I know there's probably millions.
Okay, so there's 3,000 a day. Do you think that's too much? Okay, do you want
Half of them are black. 1,400 of them are black every day.
more people or less people in the world?
Again, less. I think there's too many. We can't feed them. We can't house them.
You want less human beings.
Yes.
You understand that's a eugenics argument.
No, I'm not trying to pick out particular people who should get rid of. I'm just saying this.
If you can't feed them or clothe them, who's the most economically depressed people right now in America? Black people. Listen to her. See what I'm saying? So you are right. There are racist people. This right here is a logic that justified forced sterilization. This is the logic that justified killing of black people as human weeds. That's where it comes from. She regurgitated it.
The population has skyrocketed in the past, 100 years.
Thank goodness more human beings are able to live longer. I think life's a beautiful thing.
That's great, but we're killing the planet and we're killing each other.
So you would put hierarchy planet over babies. Like trees over babies.
No.
I'm just asking because you say that more human beings has contributed to a.
I don't think we should be actively trying to
You can fit every human being in the state of Texas on the planet.
people on purpose with having humans.
That's kind of what human beings do, though.
Right. But not everybody's like, yeah, I need to pump out more kids just to have
Do you know 99% of abortions, more or less, are because of convenience, because people just don't want to have the child. And do you think it's okay just because something is hard to be able to dismiss of another?
Now, like I said, now you ride the dick carousel and you get a pass. Don't nobody call you out. See, women, I'm sorry. Like, it's my body. It's my body. Okay, but how did you get pregnant? Somebody put a dick in you and bust a nut, right? And you wanted them to put the dick in you and bust a nut because you wanted it to feel good. See, this is the biggest elephant in the room when they talk about abortion. How did you get in this predicament? It's like, I'm pregnant. I deserve rights. Wait a minute. Wait. How did you get pregnant? Doing some shit that you knew in second grade would create a baby. Nobody ever talks about that. Everybody, like, she's supposed to get, there ain't no damn right to kill somebody with a completely different DNA makeup. I'm going to show y'all something. This one chick is evil and demonic as hell. I'm going to play it. This chick is straight from the pits of hell. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to play it. She up there with Crowder arguing because I listened to it today. I was like, damn, this chick is empty. She has no core values. She's just evil. Like, I'm going to show it to you.
What gives you the right or somebody else the right to dispose of another human being with a totally different DNA that will never be created again? If I decide you are someone that shouldn't be around, should I have the right to be able to remove you? So is the baby in the womb. And you said it's a life and a human life. Well, just because a baby can't live on its own does not mean it's not a person. You're okay with disposing of human life. I applaud you for being very clear with your indispensable fervor of human beings. You do understand this is how, like, genocides begin, right? Excuse me. No, I'm not saying you are, but dehumanizing and saying I'm okay with disposing people because we don't want them is how hundreds of millions of people were killed in the last 100 years.
I don't think that a 6-month-old fetus
Deserves protection despite having a heartbeat. Do you think abortion should be a form of birth control?
I think it should be a last resort.
But it's becoming the primary resort 1 million times a year. It's a lot.
How many people are on birth control?
Quite a lot.
It's more than 1 million.
Do you know that the abortion rate is higher than the birth rate in New York City for Black women? Do you know if you see a pregnant Black woman in New York City, she's more likely going to the abortion clinic than to the delivery room? Does that bother you? Like, do you understand the Black birth rate has flatlined since passage of the decision of Roe versus Wade?
Right. I don't think the world is that great. I think so. We should not be.
So we should.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying you're not. I'm not a racist.
You understand? This is the eugenicist KKK Margaret Sanger argument.
Giving them the opportunity to be in a place where they can sustain a family. I think we have a systemic issue.
Dude right there is straight soaking this shit in. He act like he ain't. He ill hustling like a motherfucker too.
So, infant bearing age of black women make up about 3% of the U.S. population and 40% of the abortions. The black population has stagnated and not grown at all, basically as a percentage of population since the passage of Roe versus Wade. If someone was a racist, not saying you are, they are keeping the black population at perfect population control. Something to think about. I want more black people. Do you? Okay. All right. Thank you. I want more black people in the world. You want less.
Boom. You know what I'm saying? Guys, go and challenge what people tell you. Don't just, accept ideas, given to you by somebody. A lot of white liberals, man, they really control the ideology and thought process of a lot of black people. We're controlled. We're a controlled group of people. The college and university system is destructive to everything. It is a breeding ground for all this liberal bullshit you see out here. It really is. I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna let y'all listen to this chick here.
Fetus is literally a parasite. Like, it is sucking the life from a mother.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like, that's literally what happens. That's not even like.
Not a mother, I'm guessing. Steven. All right, I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
You can change my mind.
I heard.
Or you read. You were on campus.
I can read, yes. Yeah. I'm able to read.
You were at a very good campus, I would hope so.
Yeah, me too. First of all, it's not pro-abortion, it's pro-choice.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's the.
See, they want women just to be out here fucking willy-nilly, riding every dick they can, like Gabrielle Union said, right? Get every dick shoved in as you can, which is what Gabrielle Union said she did when she was younger, right? Like, that's what she said. You get as many dicks as you can, then kill a baby when you get pregnant. And I'm gonna play this other chick. I was faced with a financial situation. Let me say this right here. I honestly hope Amy Coney Barrett, whatever, in the ACB gets in, and I hope they strike that shit down. I do, and I hope some of these southern states and some of these states, these Bible Belt states, just completely get rid of that shit unless you rape. That's what I hope. Because then, I'm talking about, you got to have a rape kit, a police report, all that shit. You got to. There needs to be an active investigation searching for the guy that raped you if he had a mask on. And if he didn't, then damn it, we ain't getting you no abortion. Like, you got to, I'm talking about that type. Like, cut all that shit out. Because that'll cut down on 97% of these abortions out here. And women would be forced to close them damn legs until it's time, which is what we used to do. What women, see, then you'll go back to shaming women. See, feminism actually hurt women, especially black women. That's why brothers ain't getting married now. They can get pussy without having to worry about all that. I ain't got to marry nobody. I ain't got to do shit. I just go over there at 10 o'clock at night, blow it back out, leave. You know what I'm saying?
The option to have an abortion or to not. That's what choice is about. So there's an element, I guess, of pro-life is necessarily in pro-choice because you have the option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you pro-choice when it comes to what amount of taxes you pay or I pay?
Excuse me?
You say pro-choice.
Have to do with abortion.
I'll get to it. Philosophically.
I mean, she don't even look like she like me. You know,
okay.
You said you're pro-choice. It's only about choice.
Yeah.
I could have swore I had this shirt in like 1992.
Consider yourself very consistently an advocate of choice and liberty?
Sure.
Okay. So it'd be pro-choice where I could.
Okay, there are Muslim countries who made the top 100 countries with the lowest gender gap according. Okay, what's your point, brother?
Choose what taxes I pay?
That's not the same concept. Yeah, no,
okay.
That's not the same.
So would you be pro-choice and I can determine what laws I obey?
That's not the same concept. I'm so sorry.
I know. You laugh, but we'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
because it's not your choice if it's terminating another life. So it does come down to abortion, because here's the thing, pro-choice would apply to everything else: taxes, driving SUVs, carbon credits, policy.
It's not.
We're discussing the issue of abortion, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think we would all have differing opinions on choices regarding other issues. In this case, we're just talking about abortion. Are we pro-abortion, pro-right to abort, or pro-life?
And let me say this about the gender pay gap thing, because I think that Milo Yiannopoulos, and that's good, Wacky, because you at least, maybe you don't know about Milo, maybe you do, but let me say this. Milo himself stated in his video that I just played that the gender pay gap is not explained. You're conflating Islam and what he was talking about with women having a lot of stuff happen, and a lot of stuff happen to women over there. If a woman, honor killings and stuff like that, with him talking about the pay gap, which was a completely different video because it was like a compilation video. But the gender pay gap is not justified because what they're doing is all women versus all men. They're looking at also women choose STEM sciences at a lower rate than men do. Women choose certain majors. Women choose their family when they have a child, when they get in their 30s and they pop a baby out. They choose their child over their career. So there's a lot of different reasons. It's not just oppression of women. And I know you don't believe that. I'm just saying in general.
Pro-right to abort, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Pro-right to abort. Okay. Good. So let's use that term. Pro-right to abort.
You can still use
pro-life.
pro-choice.
You can use pro-choice. That's fine.
Okay.
I won't.
Cool. Okay.
Change my mind.
I'm sorry, but what do you want me to change your mind on?
Well, this is the purpose. You sat down here. I'm pro-life. So where am I wrong?
Where are you wrong? I mean, okay, well, going back to what you were talking about earlier with the other person, I think you're missing an important part of the argument whenever I think his name was Pablo. Pablo was saying that you like the coma argument, I guess. So can you go over that again really quickly?
Well, I was only bringing that argument because he was talking about defining life.
Yeah.
So I think the only argument that really matters is defining life.
Define life? That's my question.
Yeah.
That's the basis of most choice for life.
Yes. Let me try and be as clear as possible. I don't want to wiggle on this, or do you feel that I've tricked anyone? I believe life begins at conception because I believe it's the only consistent line to draw. That's where a unique genetic code, human DNA.
Control?
No, I'm fine. I'm pro-birth control.
Why are you pro-birth control if it can?
Yeah. Let me explain to you why. Because preventing conception is different than aborting after conception.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
If that's when the life starts, that you're purposely preventing the conception from happening, is that not aborting?
No, it's not, because every time I masturbated, I'd be committing mass genocide.
I mean,
and let me say this. I don't think so. I don't. I think it's decisions. Decisions are why there's a gap. I guarantee you. I believe that. I don't think it's a systematic white man. We're going to make the niggers. No, you choose whatever major you wanted to. If you wanted to major in computer engineering or learn Ruby on Rails and coding computers and doing all that shit, and you telling me you can't get a job, I'm like, okay, you might have a point. But usually when most people I know in computer science, I got a homeboy work for Google. We don't choose computer engineering when we go to school. We choose the lowest paying fields. That's by us. We choose that shit. I don't think that's being set up on us. That's just me.
you could say the same principle.
No, see, what you're doing is you're taking a very clear answer and twisting it to try and make it nuanced. I believe it begins at conception.
There's technically a life within everyone's genital organs right now. There is a life within every single one's genital organs.
You mean a separate life within your organs and my organs? Let me ask you this. You're talking about your genitals right now. So you mean a different life from yours? I mean, this is a life. I'm a life.
If it goes on your opinion, yes. Personally, I don't believe life starts until outside of the womb.
Okay.
So
that's just empty. She say she don't believe life starts until the baby make it out.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So I do believe life begins at conception. You believe life exclusively begins outside of the womb.
Correct.
Okay. So is it your presupposition that abortion up until the moment it leaves the birth canal is acceptable?
Sure.
9 months?
Sure.
8 months?
Sure.
You don't believe that's a life?
No.
Okay, you haven't changed my mind. Thank you very much.
Wait, what?
that it?
Yeah, we're not going to find common ground if you're okay with aborting a fully sentient, fully viable baby at 9 months.
Until it leaves the womb.
Yeah, that's just not true.
Living off of the body of another.
I appreciate it. You haven't changed.
Y'all didn't hear. She said living off the body of another. Like, watch this chick ain't got no fucking morals. Like, watch this shit here. She gonna come back because he got out because he told her we don't have nothing to talk about. Watch this.
Remember that at the ballot box. Thank you so much, Marcella or Marcella? Marcella. Thank you so much. I appreciate being so respectful. I hope you weren't so nervous. I hope.
I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
Don't be sorry at all. You didn't do anything offensive.
It's just another. Actually, I haven't because we didn't really get anywhere. I have another question. If you would like to.
No, I appreciate it.
No.
No, listen. I've done this quite a few times, and if you're okay with abortion up to 9 months, you know, the goal is to find common ground and have a conversation.
No, I mean I have another question outside of that though.
Okay, I don't see how it'd be fruitful if the goal is to see where we agree. Yeah, I'm open. Well, I'm open to having my mind changed, but my mind will not be changed to abortion up to 9 months.
I mean, I can.
You see, this is where I actually give the conservatives a lot more credit than liberals. You go to a campus where people disagree, you sit down and you have a logical conversation, not getting emotional, not being disrespectful, and this is where you can hash out real shit, and you can really see why most black people are really conservative. When you really just go through stuff step by step and debate it, they don't want that. They shut that shit down. A guy came to Bethune-Cookman, and these black students came in the damn union or the auditorium where he was and stood up and made all types of loud noises and turned their backs against him. And they was in that motherfucker trying to help them set up that shit where they get the black colleges, HBCUs, some permanent funding, talking about how they're going to help the HBCUs, and the students fought against it. Because, you know what I'm saying, like white liberals have really fucked black people. That's just the bottom line. But you have to take responsibility for it your damn self if you let somebody make an ass out you. You know, my mom used to, whenever I was playing with this boy named Andre, and I would always do shit for him and he wouldn't do nothing for me. And my mama would get me in the car. He don't do that shit for you. You always doing this, you always doing that. And then, you know, one day I noticed that shit and I started asking him, hey man, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? No. I knew then. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this nigga don't give a fuck about me. This nigga just want to use me and make me do shit for him, but I can't do. Then I had to stop fucking with him. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, hear her out if you want. Like, you don't know what she's gonna say.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Okay.
You can take it, Sid.
Okay, cool. Actually,
take it away, Sid.
What she was talking about brought up and some other people brought up a good point that essentially an abortion, quote unquote, at 9 months is just a C-section, which makes complete sense because the baby can live on its own. It can actually be a baby rather than a fetus. But my question is, what about after the baby is born?
Yeah.
Because because this whole pro-choice, pro-life argument is. The point of contingency is essentially like when a woman has body autonomy. You know what I mean?
No.
Body autonomy?
I know what it means.
Yeah. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I know what it means. That's not what the discussion's about.
It is. That's exactly what the pro-choice argument is.
No, it's not.
It's about body autonomy. Wait, I'm telling you it is. Wait, how? What do you mean?
Yeah, I know you tell me it is, and I had somebody here tell me that they were a man and used different pronouns. Reality is reality. It's not body autonomy if it's a 9-month-old baby.
Because a fetus is literally a parasite. Like it is sucking the life from a mother.
Yeah. Evil bitch. Let me go back and play that again. That was some evil shit she just said. Watch this.
Tell me it is, and I had somebody here tell me that they were a man and used different pronouns. Reality is reality. It's not body autonomy if it's a 9-month-old baby.
Because a fetus is literally a parasite. Like it is sucking the life from a mother.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like that's literally what happens. That's not even like
not a mother, I'm guessing.
Like,
are you?
Sure. I don't. Yeah, no.
I'm not the one referring to a baby as a parasite. That seems pretty harsh.
But that's actually what happens. Like I'm not even joking. Like
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not even joking. I'm just not. You're not going to convince me at all as far as abortion up to 9 months. So I don't understand how this is fruitful.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
It's not a 9-month-old baby is not a parasite.
It's a C-section. It can live on its own.
See, man, you cannot just be out here willy-nilly having sex with a woman like that. What type of message is she's going to portray to a child? First of all, I wouldn't touch her ass with a 10-foot 1,000 pole. But what I'm saying is, what type of woman? Now, what if she was bad? What if she was cold? What if she ain't all the best looking? But take this same woman with this same logic, get her fat ass, flat stomach, shrink her up, take them ugly ass glasses off, fix fix her hair because she looked like she ready to go play for the Falcons at wide receiver, right? Get her shit together. Give her nice clothes, put her in a dress. Niggas will sit there and entertain that shit because she got a fat ass. I know I done seen it. Some women that are empty as hell on the inside.
So so now you're
in the
you're
rare
saying
case
that you
that it
changed.
is a parasite, which does happen. There's something wrong with the mother.
Well,
Like the baby is literally.
Well, hold on a second. So now you're saying you don't support abortion up to 9 months.
No, I do absolutely. That's what I'm saying. At some points, there's like an.
Hold on a second. No, it's not a C-section. A C-section is not taking out the hey, congratulations, you have a baby boy, smack it so it cries, and putting it through a wood
In the
chipper.
rare cases.
No, it's not. It's not. And this is why we're not going to listen. We've had very civil dialogues. What you want to do is monopolize the microphone. You just said a 9-month-old abortion is a C-section.
Because
it's not.
Because when you take, it's the question of bodily autonomy. That's what I'm saying.
It's not the question of body autonomy.
Yes, because you're taking the child out of the body. That is what an abortion is. You take the child out of the body.
It's just dumb as hell. Like she literally said an abortion is taking a child out of a body. This is the logic, guys. This is the shit that, a lot of times people just walk and see. It's one thing to think this way. It's another thing to mark Black Lives Matter. See, that removes. That's why Black Lives Matter changed their website. Because they want to make an ass out of you. And they got these evil, fucked up views she has, right? But what it is, they don't want to show that shit, so they just take the shit off the website and make an ass out you. But this is I love to see motherfuckers sit down and tell you where they stand. Because then you start to really getting accurate understanding and depictions of where people stand and why they value what they value and why they think the way they think. They want you to believe that your life is meaningless. You're just a meaningless speck of dust on a bigger rock floating through an infinite vacuum, and your life don't mean shit. That's what they want you to think.
It's not connected to the mother. The baby can usually live on its own. It's an actual baby at 9 months. So whenever before that.
But you just said you supported abortion up to 9 months.
That's essentially what it is. Like I'm so
okay, let me ask you this really clearly. Are you still okay? Are you still okay with abortion up to 9 months?
Abortion is taking a baby out of the mother.
No, abortion is sucking a baby's brains through a tube and killing them. That's not the same as cutting them out in a C-section. You see what I'm saying?
That's called a delivery.
It's a delivery when it's going to reach full term.
No. It's called a delivery when you want it. And you're considering it a C-section or abortion when you don't.
When it's reached full term.
9 months isn't full term?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. 8 months, 7 months. My point is you said you're okay with all of it. Why are we having a discussion? I'm not.
But I'm not. Okay.
See, the thing with Crowder is he's been on these campuses and he knows whenever a woman says 9 months is okay, he know he can't. It's like, okay, she empty. She has no morals. Get your evil ass away from me, Cruella de Vil. Just get away from me, right? He knows that.
No, I am, but she's come back
You see her friends over there amping her up now. Watch this.
And I think other people would have more fruitful discussions.
Okay, so what about this part? What about after the baby is born? What is the pro-life stance after the baby is born?
Well, this isn't the conversation right now. The conversation is pro-life. No, it's not. The conversation is about abortion. Okay, listen. Let me read. What do you study?
The holistic.
Here you go. He finna drop the bomb on our ass. Now watch this.
Okay, you're an English. I can tell. I know exactly what's going to happen. In about 2 years' time, you're going to be talking about afterward whether pro-lifers want to support the child through better healthcare, services, a mandate, socialized healthcare, and all of a sudden it comes to Mrs. Pro-choice is pro-no choice when it comes to totalitarian tax regimes, the right to own guns, the right to drive an SUV.
I'm sorry, you're not listening.
He told her ass. He read her ass. That's exactly what she is, man. He told her who she is right there. That's who she is, man.
This isn't the conversation right now. The conversation is pro-life. No, it's not. The conversation is about abortion. Okay, listen. Let me read. What do you study?
The holistic. I'm an English anthropologist.
Okay, you're an English. I can tell. I know exactly what's going to happen. In about 2 years' time, you're going to be talking about afterward whether pro-lifers want to support the child through better healthcare, services, a mandate, socialized healthcare, and all of a sudden it comes to Mrs. Pro-choice is pro-no choice when it comes to totalitarian tax regimes, the right to own guns, the right to drive an SUV.
I'm sorry, you're not listening.
Because you're manipulating the microphone, so I appreciate it. No, that's my microphone. That's what.
See that she didn't even want to. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like this shit. But I'm gonna tell you something now. A lot of black people are, we empower this shit. We don't think we do. We think, man, no, that shit's stupid. You'd be surprised. The people that you support, the people that you stand behind. A lot of us, maybe not you guys, but a lot of black people we condone this type of ideological belief system and thinking. This is what we support. You know, we support that shit. You know what I'm saying? And somebody made a point about violence. Let me show y'all something. This is typically what happens when they can't agree with you.
Berkeley, the target, a conservative student. Tonight, college Republicans are calling it.
I've been saying colleges are a breeding ground for a lot of fuckery that nobody calls out. Colleges go untouched. And until you deal with the education in the colleges and what they're teaching these kids, you really can't deal. That's why you got blue states. I have a family member that lives her dad raised her a certain way, conservative in the church. She took her ass to a college, got out, moved to a certain city, liberal city, got around her little white and Asian friends, and now she just as liberal as she can be. He called her, what's up? Da, 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 da. She, no, you're out of touch. You don't get it. You don't get it. You know what I'm saying? This shit, I'm telling you, them professors know what the fuck they doing. And there is no counterweight for this shit. Nobody's saying nothing. I mean, a few conservatives are, but nobody really saying that.
Free speech. KPX 5's Andrea Borba live on the Cal campus. She just spoke with a couple of witnesses. What do they say, Andrea?
Let me show you.
This was the scene on Upper Sprout Plaza, a shoving match. And then a sucker punch. The man in black is the suspect UC Berkeley officers are looking for tonight.
Now, when the district attorney saw that this guy did it, they had done shit to that guy up until about a year ago. He hadn't had no charges. They didn't move forward trying to go at him or nothing. Dude just came and assaulted the guy because he's a conservative, and these universities and these Democrats and shit, they have no problem doing fuck shit like that, beating on people, acting, you know, because they believe that that they're the right side, they're on the right side of it. You know what I'm saying? They just think that way. So for them, it's nothing for them to be violent. It's nothing for them to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? That's just real, man.
That was a baby. That was a baby with its own. Listen, you might not like it. No, that was a baby. Let me tell you something. What?
These people were hyping my nerves in there.
Oh, really? What's your name?
Yara.
Yara Steven. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, Yara. So you just.
Before this, I just want to say no personal offense to either of us.
She's finna get very defensive throughout this whole thing, and she's just gonna hold a ground and not want to let him talk because she's had an abortion, and he gonna make a lot of points, and she just gonna be like, no, like she completely does not want to hear it. She's gonna start with, I want to do this. I want my life. I want selfish bitch. Excuse my French. You kill this baby, you suck this baby's brain through a tube, and they sew his organs out the back door. That's what they do at Planned Parenthood. And she don't give a fuck. Watch this.
So it seems like you're upset. Obviously, the sign is pretty clear.
I agree with you about this MAGA hat stuff. You can't put a sign in your yard, none of that shit. You do not see people tearing up Biden signs and jumping and beating people off because they got on a Biden shirt. But wear a President Trump shirt. Watch what'll happen.
I'm pro-life. You can listen to some conversations. If you disagree with my position, you're welcome to change my mind.
Even some of these schools are like they used to be. You got to really be careful with that. A lot of the professors are working there are liberals too. You have to kind of go through. It's only like it's not that many colleges. Even like Liberty College is liberal now. It's not. You can't just go to Liberty College no more and think that you're gonna get that. You got to be careful.
You need to calm your nerves. What are you so upset about?
One thing that definitely really strikes a chord with me is the fact that a majority of women who have actually had to face the choice of abortion, it is because it was either necessary, it was medically necessary, or it was just a decision that really was the fork in the road of your future.
Mm-hmm.
And from
it was the fork in the road of her future.
my understanding, a majority of men, I understand they pay child support. I understand that a man is half what it takes to create a child.
Sure.
But when you are by yourself and you are alone and it is dark and you have to face, do I lose my future? Like, do I throw away my education?
Mm-hmm.
I can go back. Yeah, you always say I can go back. That's twice as hard.
So first of all, she's really not too bright because she thinks that unless you go to a college or university, you don't have a future. And she also thinks that I can only get an education if I and single with no kids. But I still want to ride the dick carousel. I still got to get me. I got to have some dick now. Listen to him.
Raising a child.
See, that's what he ain't saying. That's what he ain't. Oh, come on, be realistic. Watch this.
I watched my mom as a single mother, and I don't want that life for myself. And
you don't have to align with the school of thought, but I guarantee you, you being independent, I can sit there and run down a list of issues, and you seem pretty conservative. Now, you don't have to call yourself conservative, fine. But if you for individual responsibility, you're probably going to lean a certain way. It just is what it is. People that say I'm not this, I'm not that, does not make, and I'm not trying to go at you wacky, one of my usual, so just don't take this personal. A lot of times what people do when they say that is they try to sound like I'm on this higher moral ground. I'm not going to get into the mud. I'm not going to fall down into the level of fighting and this and that. I'm smarter. I'm more pious. And I understand. I'm not going to get emotional and get into it. No, at the end of the day, motherfuckers, these liberals will whoop your ass, wacky, if you put on a Trump hat. You should be able to wear whatever the fuck you want to wear. They ain't gonna whoop your ass. I'm just they're gonna try to. You get what I'm saying? They're gonna come at you. Yeah, if you put a sign in your yard, the motherfuckers will come and pull that bitch up. It might bust your windshield out. They might do some shit like that. That's the shit that I don't think shit is even. I don't think there's a large number of the conservative side doing shit like that. We saw it with the Tea Party. We didn't see that shit, but what we do see is Antifa and a lot of these people that are so-called Black Lives Matter. Not just everybody that says Black Lives Matter isn't violent, but 97% of Klan rallies weren't violent either. You know what I'm saying? So shit, it don't take that much percentage.
Abortion itself, it's a right. I understand the legalities behind late abortion, and I do not.
A right is a God-given thing. So I mean, she thinks that she has the right from God to kill a child, to sacrifice the child sacrifice.
Support it unless it is medically necessary. In the terms of it would kill the mother, the fetus is no longer viable.
Can I pause you real quick?
Yes.
We've gone to a few different things.
Yes.
First off, I appreciate you being so forthcoming with your personal story. You didn't have to do that, so I do appreciate
I
that.
understand a lot of people are not willing to talk about it.
Well, thank you very much. As far as yourself, if you don't want to be a single mother, go through that life, don't have sex, use contraception. See, I'm not against choice. I believe there are 4 choices: abstinence, contraception, motherhood, adoption. I'm just against hold on one second. I'm just against the one that involves killing another human being. And I think it's very important here to go back to the very first thing that you said, which was most abortions are medically necessary, or it's a fork in the road in determining your future. Conflating those, I think is pivotal, because most abortions performed are not medically necessary. You're right with the second half. Most are performed because the mother at that point doesn't want to deal with the consequences of her previous actions.
Can I pause you right there?
She ain't gonna let him say shit. She ain't gonna let him. She gonna make damn sure she get her point out. That's why that child dead.
Real quick.
Sure.
Going back to the 4 choices that you just said. Abstinence, which right now, let's realistically look at the rates of teen sexual activity. That's not happening. And especially, no, hold on. In this state, we do not recognize sex education for what it is. We decide to teach abstinence instead of safe sex, and that's been.
She's gonna say that it's not a human being in a second. She's gonna go there. She got to. I mean, she didn't kill the baby. She gotta say it.
Proven to not work.
No.
Contraceptives, birth control is a hormone. It will change my hormone balance. It physically changes my body, and in some cases, it can do more.
If you really just gotta fuck, put on 2 condoms. How about that? You still get herpes, but hey, at least you won't be pregnant.
Harm than good. There are some women who can't take it, who can't handle it. And yes, I understand there's adoption as well.
Well, while we're dealing, by the way, with abstinence, it is a choice. I was abstinent until I got married.
You're a very rare few.
Well,
congratulations.
Well, everybody accepts that we live in an over-sexualized society, and they tell you it's impossible to abstain from sex. You people think, oh my God, I'm gonna burst if I don't bust a nut. Like, that's how we think. So I mean, it is impossible to tell people not to have sex. I have to kill the baby. That's the choice I have. Selfish as hell. Control Yo damn twat, don't be out here jumping up and down on every dick. How about that? How about that? And then when she talking about the man that he left her, I mean, I ain't gonna go in on how she looked, but just saying. I don't give a damn how a woman look. When a woman pregnant, a lot of dudes, unless you talking about a straight up cold dime, dudes ain't gonna just be talking about they gonna stay around at a young age. Her ass is in college. She look old, but she probably ain't even 22 years old. Having sex unprotected, irresponsible, and killed the baby. Now she want to sit there and justify that shit. Riding the dick carousel. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Just because it's rare doesn't mean that it's not a decision. Let me finish. Just because it's rare doesn't mean that it's not a decision. Contraception isn't only, hold on one second. Contraception doesn't involve only hormonal birth control. It also involves a 50-cent rubber that you could get at a truck stop.
That rubber is not 100%.
You're right. It's not 100%.
Yeah, rubber's not 100%, but it's 99 point whatever percent. Okay, that's bullshit. If everybody used condoms every time, unless they were married, there wouldn't be as many abortions. Miss me with that dumb shit. Miss me with it.
Every time you engage in sexual intercourse, you know that you are engaging in an activity that could lead to a baby.
And I understand that, but then there's also the fact
And then we
that,
said motherhood adoption. You can continue with those.
well, I mean, if you want to get into adoption, let's look at the thousands of babies who are in the foster program right now. I mean, I understand not having late-term abortions unless it's medically necessary, but my whole point is women who are pro-choice make this
Damn good point, James Earl Moore. She didn't learn shit. She's still out there wilding out because she felt like, well, I can kill the baby.
decision. And anybody who wants to argue on a religious basis, at the end of the day,
I haven't.
not you. I'm just saying a majority, like not a majority.
You can't have God in the conversation because she knows she dead right there. Anyone that wants to argue from a religious basis can't have God in there. See how this shit works? See how it works? This shit is based on evil. It's just really that simple.
Portion of people who do want to make that religious
Oh,
argument.
they're not here. That's irrelevant. So let's just talk about the science.
Well, then in that case, on adoption, let's go back to that. Adoption. So those children are still in the foster care program right now. Theoretically speaking, let's say abortion was completely taken away.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with the influx of births that are going to occur? What's going to happen with the women who don't want those children, who initially didn't want that child, and do give them up for adoption? And we have a huge surplus of more children in the foster care program who then will not be adopted, just as the many thousands.
Well, first of all, birth rates would spike and then go down because people understand the ramifications of their actions. People ain't just fucking stupid. We're humans. We can think for ourselves. I'm gonna understand, damn, I don't need to put my dick in this girl without a condom. Like, you can't change human behavior. People gotta fuck now. This is our whole concept. You gotta fuck. There is no individual responsibility, no control of your actions. You have to put a dick in a woman with no condom. You got to. There's gonna be more babies. Yes, there will be more babies if you get rid of abortion. There will be. First of all, it'll probably go to the states, and every state won't be like that. That's just a fact. But that being said, it will be like that.
Thousands that are in it right now.
So, can I answer that? It sounds to me, first off, like a lot of absolvement of responsibility. But just because someone is a burden, is that how we place value on human life?
She said you can't use birth control because it has hormonal effects to her body, so she can't use birth control.
If someone is more burdensome because they're unwanted, they are not. They have no.
Do you want to be realistic?
No. I want to determine what.
I'm saying, like, in the sense of burdening.
Yeah.
We don't want to take the burden. I know it's a different topic, but it's just something we don't want to take the burden of some of our mistakes on a day-to-day basis, but yet it's not as polar opposite as this right now. As in the sense of, like, I can't bring up other topics because then we're going to get off topic.
Yeah,
so
we'll get off topic.
Go ahead. Yeah,
it sounds like we're absolving women, both women and men, by the way. I don't know if you consider yourself, a feminist at all, or but I certainly wouldn't let men off the hook as you are right here. Listen, both women and men have a responsibility to either be abstinent, use proper contraception. It's 2018. I don't believe for a second that people are not aware of the contraception methods available to them, and then also be parents and provide a baby for adoption.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of services out there. It sounds to me like absolving people from a lot of responsibility. And again, none of this is okay if it's a human life.
Some of those government
It's not a choice
services
if it's a
that
human life.
should help deter women from wanting to have an abortion are not as easily acceptable as everybody thinks that they are. Just because you make a certain amount of money per year means that you don't qualify for the government aid, the health care.
So she ain't making just 30,000. She's making enough money to be able to not qualify. Probably 40,000 or so. She make too much money, so she can't get government aid. Okay. So you probably can restructure your damn life because you're making that money now and your ass in college.
Programs that are available, I don't qualify for them. I slipped through the cracks because I am right in the middle. So because I had nobody to help me, and yes, I can be another person on government subsidies as well as my child. But do you really want to pay for those subsidies? I don't have a child. I'm saying theoretically.
Okay.
Do you want to pay for my subsidies that I would be requiring from the government?
No, of course not.
You don't? No?
No.
Okay,
and I know where this is going now. We're going to go and say, well, you're not really pro-life unless you support insert socialized program here.
Not necessary.
The difference is I'm pretty consistent across the board. I'm pro-life, meaning you cannot kill another human being inside the womb or outside of the womb. So I think the pivotal question becomes, you talk about the choice. Now we provided 4 choices. You just believe that it's a human right to provide a 5th choice. So in that case, I think it's very important for you to, I guess, explain to me why that's not a human life.
That's not necessarily something that you can explain according to biology.
Sure it is.
Technically, you can say that it is a human life, but I'm not going to get into that conversation because you can tail dog me all day long on it.
No, I think. Hold on a second. Doesn't that matter? Isn't it the most important question? If you are potentially killing a human being,
when do you believe that when do you believe that the point of
hold on a
life
second. Let me continue on. I will answer that question, but let me continue on this logic trail here. If you are advocating for abortion, and we both acknowledge that it could be potentially ending a human life, isn't it important for you to be able to prove that it's not?
Why is it okay to end human life only when the government says that we can?
It's not okay to end human life.
Now she finna go into some social justice shit to justify killing a baby, an innocent child. Watch this.
Against.
Do you know what the army does every day?
See, now she's talking about the fucking army defending a nation, which you wouldn't have a nation, objectively speaking, without an army that fights wars. She trying to justify that mean I can kill this baby. Evil bitch. Evil. And she's selfish as hell. Selfish. And it's easy for us to look at these chicks and be like, shit, I wouldn't touch her ass anyway. She full of shit. But I promise you, if this chick was very good looking and thick and had this same logic, it'll soften it up a lot of people. Well, shit, I mean, as long as I get my turn in that ass, I don't really care. We gotta start requesting more as men. I think we need to start holding. No, you don't get a pass because your ass got an abortion. That shit just as whack as having 3 and 4 kids. Just as whack.
We're talking about wars. We're talking about wars, and we're talking about self-defense.
And millions
killing
of
an innocent
die.
child. Killing an innocent child. Okay? Let me ask you this: you approve of that?
No, I don't approve.
Okay, so then you wouldn't approve of it happening in a womb, correct?
I don't approve of you saying that a child in a womb is going to be the de facto of what happens in my life, because if I decide to be, if I'm
I don't appreciate a person killing another human being. So it does. I get that you say I don't want you to have a say in my life, but I don't want to have a say in your life. I only want to have a say in that life.
By changing the legalities of the laws that I live, the laws that affect me and the millions of other women that have to have the abortion.
See, let me tell you something. We have an out of whack system that have made, and I'm not trying to go at any sisters, but our legal system we've babied and coddled women so much. I'm a chivalrous guy. I believe in chivalry and protecting you. I just made a video yesterday talking about that. But women have been coddled to the point where it is fucking illogical with some of the shit these women saying. This is my right. You cannot take this. Okay, but y'all ain't even got the same DNA. He got different heartbeat, different hands, different feet. How many hands and feet do you have? Well, I have 2. I have 2 feet, 2 hands. Okay, well, what about the babies? They're not yours. They're not your same DNA. That baby is not yours to kill, to maim. You see what I'm saying?
Because let me tell you.
Now, I ain't gonna play the whole video. All I wanted y'all to see in this video was just how people are, just a lot of liberals are just destroying a lot of black people. Our communities have been destroyed with a lot of this liberal shit.
there's so many. The way that the
So many
XY
not enough.
chromosomes actually break down with intersex genders and the way that it actually happens, that was the starting point that you learn in like 5th grade. But when you actually do
Like
real
5th grade.
experiments, you learn that the way that
She
data
said there are hundreds of genders.
breaks down when it comes to
Can you give me a number or not?
genders.
Number?
A number? You have 2. That's 6th grade science. When you move on, there are
So,
hundreds of
so
different
what you
categories.
so what you learn in 6th grade becomes less true as you get older.
That's
Like gravity
a big,
becomes
that
less
is
true.
a basic building
Newton's
block
third
that
law
children
becomes less
learn
true.
in order to understand the concept of gender. When you break it down into actual
Gender and
experiments when it
sex are
comes to
directly
chromosomes,
See, they just see there. That's regurgitated liberal professor logic shit. What do they say? Those who can do and those who can't teach. This shit here won't work nowhere but on a college campus. Nowhere else in real life is this shit gonna work. Talking about there are hundreds of genders. Think about that shit.
and sex, it breaks down into hundreds of different categories that actually differentiate between just 2 genders. What you're saying is there are facts and you don't believe in there being opinions.
Yes, I am
and
saying
feelings.
that there are
This
facts.
is a scientific fact that you can talk to any biologist who will learn.
So in biology, they teach
You
you
are
that there's
completely
XX
just
and
using
XY
a
chromosomes.
rhetorical, not
So give me a
scientific-
number of how many genders there are.
XY chromosome. XY is male, XX is female.
Hundreds, many. It
Yeah,
breaks
unlimited,
down.
right?
It breaks
So
down in
it's
so many
anything
more
you want to be,
categories.
anything you feel.
No, it's what scientists determine given specific
X,
categories.
X, XY.
Why do you need a number if you're
Bingo.
already doing
Why do you need a number? That's a great
You
question.
literally have no idea how it works. You're
Because
using
then you could
6 grade
self-identify to be anything you want at any time.
Literally, biologists are saying this is
Oh,
the way
so,
the gender actually
so,
breaks
so,
down.
so you would accept the argument that you can self-identify to be anything at any time.
Yes, because literally
Okay.
biologists
That's
are
what's wrong with not having a number.
There are hundreds of different numbers.
But again, you don't have a number. I just want to recap.
Hundreds. There's hundreds of
So where would
ways
you
that
put?
data breaks.
Okay, so the data breaks down into very simple predominant categories: X, X, and XY. And that's no. Oh, so there's not male and female.
I think what happens is you don't understand.
I mean, if she okay, so what happened if you put some nut in her? What is she gonna get pregnant? Because if you will, first of all, you gotta be able to enter to get a woman pregnant. She has to have some sort of, you get what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that fraction of a percent of hermaphrodites. That's the only way you can even make this logic fit. The only way. And usually most hermaphrodites are born predominantly one sex. Predominantly male, slightly female, or predominantly female, slightly male, like that. They're not born 50-50 most of the time, 99.99% of the time of that fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent that actually has that happen. And you have to look at hormonal things that make that happen. Food, diet, shit they putting in your food that makes this shit happen. It's not natural most of the time.
Science and
Oh, I don't.
backing,
Oh, okay. So
and you just want to
so I can
put forth this
so
like
I
fascist
so
simple.
oh fascist simple. Here we go. That's
that will keep you.
so what is fascist about saying there's 2 genders?
Is you're just being completely not faithful to what actual science is telling you.
No,
because you want
science
to
is
put
quite
forward
simple. That
Your
there's
own
a
oppressive narrative.
You see what I mean by science? Everybody, just because they say science, they think they can say the word science to just shut you down from shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like that global warming shit. I don't want to go into it. Some of y'all might believe it, but people, the science is settled. Evolution. No, it's not. That's bullshit. Where you get that from? The science is settled. There is no God. What? Where you get that from? Like, just people just make shit up and say science to shut you down. That's the ideology now.
So and now I'm oppressive. How am I being oppressive? This is the truth comes out eventually. So how am I being oppressive?
You're being oppressive.
How am I being oppressive?
You're being oppressive by denying people the ability to have.
How have I denied anyone anything? Okay, denying people identity. People can identify however they want. I'm only going to use 2 genders.
You know what I'm saying? I just, you know.
Misgender someone in California, you could face prison time. Correct.
So if I accidentally misgendered you as a female, which obviously you have very male characteristics, then
Well,
I could go
both gender and sex.
Sure,
Male. Right.
but I could go to jail specifically for saying she is having a debate tonight.
That's correct. Yes. Look at the law.
Okay, I'll look. You know, with the
I don't know the code is. You could type in misgender in California. But anyway, I'm glad you guys are out here. So you'll be protesting me. I wish you guys would come in though and have a conversation. That would be wonderful.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't mind. I love shit like this. I could disagree with you and make an argument for reparations. I'm sure he would disagree. I believe I got a strong ass case for reparations. Like, you're not gonna tell me, and it's not just because I'm not open to logic. It's the case for reparations is insurmountable. Like, you cannot, it's insurmountable. There's no way you can pull that shit apart, right? That doesn't mean I don't agree with every other damn near most of everything else he says on politics. Me and this dude line up. Most of these people, most of the shit you hear on the Manosphere, I'm just enlightening people and bringing that to the forefront. And I started this video really just referring to how black people are never really truly exposed to true conservatism. And if they are, they only take it to you niggas don't, when it comes to when a cop shoots somebody 50 times a year, you niggas is coons, that type of shit. And you got people that say, well, George Floyd deserved it. And that doesn't help the cause. Candace Owens making dumbass comments like that for money is stupid. You get what I'm saying? No, that man ain't deserve to have nobody sit on his neck for 10 minutes. I don't give a damn what he did when he was 5-6 years ago. That doesn't mean he's free. He's not in prison. He's paid his debt to society, technically. Now, if he did hit a counterfeit $20 bill, I give him whatever you're going to give him. But don't sit on his neck for 10 minutes straight and everybody telling you he's dying and you don't give a fuck. That's different. That shit, any conservative that says that has an agenda.
Disrupted. Why would you like to disrupt and not have a dialogue? No, of course you have the right to be wrong and you have the right to be a jerk, but why would you choose to be wrong? Transphobic. So do you think I fear people that think they're women or think they're men?
I do think that your rhetoric is transphobic, especially harmful to trans people. And I think that you should fuck off, get on campus.
Oh, okay. So I should be silenced, not allowed to speak. Is that what you do when people prove you wrong? You kick them off campus?
No, I don't think that there should be any like university sanctioned thing that says Charlie Kirk can't be here. But if students are able to organize against you and kick your ass off campus, then
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you guys would have a nice dialogue because you have not provided much.
He don't want a dialogue and shit. He just want to kick the man off campus and tell him to fuck off because he don't like him. And then he used homophobia because that is the sacred cow, right? When you talk about them, you can't touch them at all. They are above black people right now. Just so you guys know, like, they are way more sacred than we are. You gay? Oh shit, you get it. And don't be no T. Oh my God, you really being oppressed. You can't dare say nothing to them. That's why he said, I think you're a transphobic piece of shit. Because he knew.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you guys would have a nice dialogue because you have not provided much evidence for your ideas because that's why you guys decide to try to disrupt and protest. It's just one final thing. You could tell a lot by who's willing to have a conversation and who's not willing. And usually the people that are the ones protesting and not talking are on the wrong side of history. One of my cronies. Interesting. It's a good way to describe our wonderful student group here. So anyway, I wish you the very best, that you live a free life. You have the right to be wrong. And I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna see that. Really shreds a lot of it. Yep, I'm gonna do it. I've got to see that. I thought it was in movie theaters, but I'm definitely gonna check it out. Dinesh D'Souza actually lights into a lot of this stuff.
Seeing this footage sometime very soon. So thank you guys.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, don't want to really see. My thing is this, man. You don't know what the fuck you really believe in at 20, 18 years old. You're just a mind of mush when you go to college, right? You don't know who you are. That's why they love to get you at 18, put you in the military, strip you down in boot camp, get you. They want to break you, then they build you back up into a soldier. This is how they did it for thousands of years, not just in the Marines, but this is how you make a soldier. You saw 300, the Hagogi, or whatever they call it, where they send you out into the wilderness to steal. They want to make you into a soldier, right? So building up people. So when you get somebody on college campuses, this is what they do. They strip kids of what they are. They shame them from, their ideals that their parents put in them. So you might raise your child to think a certain way, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's on some other shit. Let me see if I can catch it. Here we go.
Okay, as a libertarian socialist, right, as you would know, the workers controlling the means of production, right? That's just like an economic thing. I don't believe in big government, right? I believe
You don't?
no government.
No
Little
government.
to
So
no
you're an
government.
anarchist. Yes.
I believe in voluntary hierarchy and democracy.
Okay, so wow. But let me ask you a question in all seriousness. No, here's the question. Here's a serious question though.
I know y'all like, man, why are you showing this shit? So, man, I don't think like that. Yeah, but you support people that talk just like this if you vote Democrat. AOC agree with about everybody that's been up here talking. If you from New York or if you Democrat, that's who you support. This type of stupid shit. We just don't get to see it. And these people are actually, when they're given a chance to speak against somebody that doesn't agree, which is rare in the black community especially, you see it for what the ugliness of it and the stupidity of this shit.
What's preventing you from doing what the Amish do? Get off the grid and just go live like that right now.
Well, the Amish are religiously excluded.
No, forget the religious
Okay,
component.
well,
but
because
the
it's
Amish are a great example.
Incredibly difficult to just pick up everything that you have, leave, and go.
So you want to tell me how to live?
No, I'm not telling you how to live.
No. You are, because you're arguing for a governmental structure.
A lack of one, rather.
So even a lack of a governmental structure will then make me live the way you want me to live. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
However you want. What I'm saying is that.
So you're okay with me having 5 houses and 6 yachts?
What I'm saying is that the society that I currently
Answer
live
the question.
I'm forced to wait. What?
You're okay with me having 5 houses and 6 yachts?
I'm not okay with you having them as if you are not using them.
Oh, not you.
Like, you see this shit?
So all of a sudden you're now telling me how to live my life. I'm never going to tell you how to live your life, my friend. Why are you telling me how to live mine?
What I'm saying is that there are people that are literally starving, and then if you had extra houses and they literally just came and occupied the houses that you are not using, they are justified because you are being a massive asshole.
Being a massive asshole to not. So if someone forcefully takes away something that is sedentary, not being used in that purpose, it is a rightful means of theft.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you don't believe in private property rights?
No, I do not.
You don't believe in private property rights. So we're getting somewhere. So you're not.
This is exactly what Black Lives Matter believe. They don't believe in private property either. They talking about raising your kids. They don't believe in parental rights. See, when you say hashtag Black Lives Matter, that's what he is espousing what they believe. He's just saying, we just never seen nobody say that shit. I can go read it on the website, but they deleted it. But you know I got copies of that shit, right?
I'm not a libertarian, my friend. Libertarians believe.
I'm not a libertarian in the American. I'm not a libertarian in the capitalist sense. I'm not a libertarian in the American sense.
So stop using the word, because you're anything but it.
That's the thing that gets me about shit, man. What is this? Ben Shapiro. I know y'all like, man, he always listens to this right wing stuff. Yeah, but I want you guys to really watch this right here. Let me see. Is this guy gets up? This it right here. This was real good. Check this out.
So let's say you own a pencil factory. I'm a worker in that pencil factory.
Now, you really need to go check out Ben Shapiro. If you that was Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA. That was the guy you just saw. The other guy that I started with was Milo Yiannopoulos. And this is Ben Shapiro. I also did Louder with Crowder. These are just 4 of the conservative guys I listen to. Like, well, see, you just buying into that dogma. No, he's debating these people. They got the mic. They're able to say what they want. And we'll see if the shit makes sense. I love shit like this. You see what I'm saying?
You can have all the machinery, you can buy all the raw materials you want, but without me and presumably many others like me to assemble the pencils, all you would have.
I've heard this. I've heard this from people. I've heard this from black people. I actually heard this when a guy, the state of Alabama shut down a dog track gambling center in Montgomery, outside of Montgomery in Shorter, Alabama. And a guy was in a barbershop making this same stupid ass argument. And I said the same thing. Watch this.
Machinery, you can buy all the raw materials you want, but without me and presumably many others like me to assemble the pencils, all you would have is a pile of wood, yellow paint, graphite, rubber, and aluminum. Okay, that would be worth it. And that is worth less than the pencil when you try and sell it. And yet, all of that value added by labor, apart from the wages that you give me, which, if we're being honest, there is a major power imbalance in our ability to negotiate that.
If all that putting the pencil together requires is basic use of your prefrontal cortex, then yes, your labor is alienable at lower rates than if you are a doctor.
Thank you. Like a doctor, a brain surgeon is going to make more than a motherfucker that can manufacture a pencil with a machine. I'm just rule of thumb. He just completely ignored that. This is You might be like, man, I don't think like that. Yes, yeah, actually, a lot of us support shit that politicians that talk like this. They just word shit different, but that's exactly what it is.
That's not the fault of the person who owns the machinery.
But if you didn't have workers like me and
You see, the thing is, workers get paid. Once you get your check, I don't owe you shit. Simple as that. If I make profit, that's why I'm in business.
pencil factory and you were just one man.
But I have millions of people who are willing to do that voluntarily for me.
If you're just one person trying to assemble pencils, you're not going to get very far. You need workers. Capital needs labor infinitely more than labor needs capital. That's why you have worker
College professor. College, that's some college shit. That is some college shit he just said, but he finna get his ass ate up with Ben. Ben Shapiro probably the best conservative debate between him and Charlie Kirk, but that damn Ben ain't in the place. I'm talking about he'll spout off some facts like bloop, 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 bloop. Like, damn. Watch this.
Cooperatives where the workers
I fundamentally disagree on the distinction between capital and labor. Capital is just a term for money. If you're talking about money, money does not grow from the ground. Money only has value because it was traded for labor at one point or the products of labor. So if I take my money and I buy machinery, I have invested my labor in doing that because I didn't get the money from nowhere. Even if I got it from my parents didn't get the money from nowhere. The people who built the machines required me to trade something of value to them in order for me to obtain the machines. The people who invented the machines required people to pay them in order to get the patent to that machine so they could build the machine. The problem that I'm seeing in what you're saying is you have still failed. If what you're talking about is a system of voluntarism, you still have not named any area in which we disagree, and yet you're telling me that you're a socialist and I'm a free marketer. So one of us has got this wildly wrong, and I'm pretty sure it's not me.
The differentiation I draw, and I'm not alone in this, I'm not one person trying to redefine anything. The differentiation I and many others like me draw between socialism and capitalism is that under capitalism, when you as the owner of the factory, you give me a wage. The wage could be $7.25, it could be $15, it could be whatever an hour, right? But you give me a wage. All the additional profit above the made from selling the pencils or whatever good you produce above what is reinvested into the company ultimately goes to you or the investors.
That's business. You don't have a right to my fucking profits. I wouldn't start no damn business. Please go check out Atlas Shrugged. Ayn Rand, go check it out. I wouldn't start no damn bitch. I wouldn't give you shit. If I start a business and I make $2 million and you get mad, fuck you. I'll fire your ass and go hire somebody else. That's the way I am. I'm a staunch capitalist. I ain't even ashamed of that shit. I'm not ashamed.
Those who own shares in the means of production. Right. Under socialism, those people are the workers. And the example I give, again, is cooperative enterprise.
No, those are the people who are investing the risk. So if they carry the risk, then they get the benefit. The owner of the factory.
He about to eat his ass now. He about to eat him. Watch this. Here we go. Watch this. He about to get him.
Cooperative enterprise.
No, those are the people who are investing the risk. So if they carry the risk, then they get the benefit. The owner of the factory carries the risk, therefore he gets the benefit. The workers in the company you mentioned, if that company were to go bankrupt, they would carry the risk as well as the benefit. If the company goes bankrupt and this guy has to pay off all of his debts, the worker may lose his job, but he's not the one who's going to incur the debt of having gone bankrupt. If you incur risk, then you're the one who pays the downside. The worker does not pay the downside. Okay, it is the investor who pays the downside, who invested in all the machinery, who sunk millions of dollars into making your labor productive. Because guess what? Your labor is without that machinery. Gunk. Nothing. You don't have a pencil to put together. You don't got the wood. You don't got the paint. You don't got the rubber. You don't got the metal. You got nothing. Right? You're sitting there, standing outside, twiddling your thumbs. It required somebody to invest. Who do you think put more in? The guy who spent millions of dollars buying all the machinery, leasing the place, making sure there was a management structure, doing the LLC formation, making sure all the tax code was in compliance, or you standing outside because you can stick a piece of graphite into a piece of wood.
I'm talking about he a monster, boy. Ben Shapiro. And Tariq he wanted to debate. He wanted to debate that dude. I'm like, no, this ain't what you want. Yeah, I don't think that's what you want, dog. Hold on. Let me get to this.
Values and people who are destroying private property, jump from 20% to 70%.
Watch this.
69 times more than that of black families. Given this disparity, how can you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't...
Now, guys, I talk about culture all the time. Culture is any non-biological behavior, guys. That is the definition of culture. Now, check. He talked about it. Let me go back a second. Now, watch this.
Is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't, and when, you know what? Explain to me. You explain to me why black kids aren't graduating high school. Explain that one to me. Explain to me why black kids are shooting each other in rates significantly higher than whites are shooting each other. Explain to me why 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder. Explain to me why the number of black kids in prison, not for innocent reasons, not for walking down the street and getting pulled into a prison, is so high. Explain, if it has nothing to do with culture, explain to me why the single motherhood rate in the black community jumped from 20% to 70% in the same course of time that the civil rights movement has made such tremendous strides. Is America more racist now than it was in 1960? And if it is, please explain to me how that happened.
They got quiet. Now, this dude is a juggernaut when it comes to debating people and stuff like that. And he's very quick, man. In the middle of an argument, he can just change shit. He's very good. You know what I'm saying? I love listening. I can sit and listen to his stuff all day. You know what I'm saying? This guy's very knowledgeable. And what it does when you go to this side of the aisle and listen to people from differing sides, what it does is it forces you to challenge what you believe and say, man, I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. So he's a dog now.
Grow into a baby. So the real question is, where do you draw the line? So you're going to draw the line at the heartbeat, because it's very hard to draw the line at the heartbeat.
I mean, he got one when he was like, man, I don't care nothing about your feelings. Like that, I actually like. Ben's probably my favorite, as you guys can probably tell. Ben Shapiro is one of my. I don't agree with him on every subject. I mean, obviously he disagrees with reparations, so you know damn well we ain't rocking like that. But that being said, Ben Shapiro is one of my favorites because he's very together. His shit is together, man. You know what I'm saying? His stuff is well thought out and he's quick with it. Like speed. Whenever you're in a debate, a lot of times speed helps you win a debate. You actually learn a lot of social dynamics by watching people like that. If there's a channel, I forget the guy's name, he broke down what Donald Trump was doing and why he beat and dominated the debate. You know what I'm saying? Which he did dominate. You know what I'm saying? Which it didn't bother me, but he actually
Love
broke it
him
down.
or hate him, everybody wants.
So what's his face? I'm trying to find this moment where Ben Shapiro came in. And I think there's a lot of people say stuff like that. A lot of people, especially in this space, are proponents of a lot of these values, and not in a bad. I don't think it's a bad thing if you have these values. I don't think they're bad issues, bad stuff. So let me see.
But then you, in the middle of your speech, I think this was hate speech. You made fun of transgenders.
Well, I made fun of one person who grabbed me by the back of the neck and threatened me with violence.
I mean, yes, but also Caitlyn Jenner. And you seem to be making I don't want You were really making jokes at the expense of transgender people. So my question is, where do you draw the line between being a mensch and really offending people? Like, where do you draw the line?
Okay, so for me, if I coldly and clearly state a fact and you're offended by the fact, that's not me being responsible for offending you. That's me saying a fact and you being offended. As far as me making jokes about Zoe Tur, my general rule is that if somebody grabs me by the back of the neck and threatens me with violence on national television, I have the right to make fun of them. That's just as when I was at University of Wisconsin. If people are going to chant at me and yell at me, then I'm not going to treat them with courtesy because they are not deserving of courtesy. Courtesy is something that you earn by being courteous.
Okay, fine. I understand that, but it just seems a little bit hypocritical to brag about the fact that you openly humiliated someone.
Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No, it's her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespect.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that
He probably agreed with the verdict. I don't agree with every conservative issue. I think Trayvon Martin made some key bad decisions, but that was a murder and that guy should have went to jail. But just because Trayvon Martin turned around and went back, they told him not to chase him, but he chased him and they didn't hold him accountable for that shit. So why is it that if Trayvon Martin gets away and then goes back, it winds up being Trayvon Martin's fault? He's not armed, he's minding his business.
every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male.
You have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
You're supposed to discuss the genetics?
Well,
what are your genetics?
So let's stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well,
Yeah.
but wait, to be fair, but to be fair, you're actually
Now, see, now the transgender guy just made a threat of violence to this guy. Everybody's gonna jump on him for saying it. Watch this.
You're
and that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who's biologically a male is a male.
You just
Someone who's biologically male is a male.
But Mr. Shapiro, you knew very well that.
But okay,
It's not a moral thing. If somebody wants to mutilate their body, that's their
it's
choice.
not mutilation, but can we just talk about
Cutting
the
off your
fact-
testicles is mutilation.
Can we talk
That's
about
not
the
actually what
fact-
they do, though, right?
Okay,
Not typically.
hold on.
They go inside out.
Well, but they don't even know most transgender don't have the genital reassignment. Most of them are not.
Okay,
But
Ben,
let me-
can I
let me-
finish real quick? Because this is
Of course.
important.
Well,
because,
I want to let you piggyback on something. May I let you do that?
yes, you may.
Because I'm
But
gonna.
my blood is boiling.
I know, and I'm going to give you a little more fuel. This is now because Ben is part of a lot of people that have various kinds of feelings about this. Is what's always talked about. Here's Peter Berg, best known for producing Friday Night Lights. He posted this picture on Instagram with the caption, quote, "One man traded 2 legs for the freedom of the other to trade 2 balls for 2 boobs."
Yeah.
Guess which man made the cover of Vanity Fair? It was praised for his courage by President Obama, and is to be honored with the Arthur Ashe Courage Award by ESPN. That's similar stuff.
Obama encouraged a lot of this shit.
First of all, of course, a wounded soldier deserves all the accolade and respect in the world. They save lives. Well, guess what? There's many different ways to save lives. I believe that Caitlyn Jenner bringing this conversation to the forefront is saving lives. And at the end of the day, can you look at the fact that more than 50% of transgender youth attempt suicide because of discrimination, because of shame? Does that try to alter the way that how you should project?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna say this, and it's fucked up. It really is. I'm not a fan of bullying. I got a 4-year-old son. I don't want him bullied. I don't want him going through that shit. As a father, you're gonna want to protect your child. But I'm gonna also say this: bullying is a natural part of life, and you have to learn how to deal with that shit. You have to. And if I think a lot of days this generation of kids has been taught cyberbullying is this, cyberbullying is that. I would delete your fucking account if you're being cyberbullied. Fuck it, just delete your account. We'll start over, whatever. But I'm not finna let you be up here talking about you finna do harm to yourself. And I'm dang sure make sure I'm on top of my son or daughter. You know, I got a son, but just to make sure that he ain't thinking nothing like that. But killing yourself because somebody don't like you has never been the answer. You don't like me, so I'm gonna end my damn life. Shit.
Your thoughts? What if they're watching right now? What if there's a teen out watching right now that is struggling with who they are, living their truth?
Let's talk about some of the biological facts for 1 second.
No, I want you to answer me. What would you say to a teen right now that really believes 100%?
Allow me to answer your question.
I'm full of emotion right now because people die.
I've noticed.
See that? Full of emotion. Watch this shit.
Clearly, it doesn't bother you because you're sitting there stone-faced and cold-hearted.
Of course, it bothers me when people commit suicide, which is one of the reasons I don't believe that transgender surgery is the solution, considering that the suicide rate after transgender surgery is precisely the same as the suicide rate before transgender.
Yeah, because then technically they're not passing, and then they're open for more discrimination.
Okay, the transgender suicide rate is approximately 0.8 in every 100. The only comparable suicide rate in human history of which I am aware is Jews living under Austrian and German rule during World War II. To liken the treatment of transgenders in the United States or the Western world to Jews living under Nazi. No, I'm actually comparing apples to apples in terms of the suicide rate.
But I think if you can see what discrimination
Why don't we
does.
make actual solutions?
Well,
why is
then stop hating, tolerate.
It's not. I'm happy to tolerate whatever people want to do is what they want to do. But the idea that the surgery itself is something to be glorified, to be reveled in the mental illness.
I think if you can bring up the difficulty that Jewish people have faced because of hatred, then why can't you, as a human, as Dr. Maya Angelou would say, that I am human, so therefore nothing human can be alien to me. Why can't you take that position?
Oh, so Maya Angelou said it. So, ooh, it's right because she said it.
And understand based upon your history.
I don't hate anybody who has a mental illness and is trying to figure out how to fix that.
Well, there might be people who said.
I'm not going to liken the treatments of Jews under
No,
Nazis.
no. I think anytime a life is in trouble, we're all in trouble. We're all in
The reason I
trouble.
brought that up is as a comparison of the treatments of the two and saying that the suicide rate is similar. So therefore, if the circumstances of the two are different, and the actually
See, they couldn't handle his ass. He was eating their ass up in that debate. They was getting so triggered. I love it though.
Have changed the minds of many with facts and reason. So my question for you is, have you ever had your mind changed on a topic through civil discourse? And if so, what are some of these
Now this is gonna be good. Now watch this.
instances which particularly stand out to you?
Sure. So the two that come to mind particularly, I would say that the issue of marijuana legalization, I've changed my mind on over time. Now, let me make clear that the experiences that changed my mind were not of the sort that you might think. I still think that smoking pot is a complete waste of time, kills brain cells, and is not a good idea as a human. But with all of that said, the data on the efficacy of government regulation of marijuana or criminalization of marijuana demonstrates that it's been basically a giant failure of a program. And so there, I think that the data have changed my mind on that issue. Another area where I think that the data have changed my mind somewhat, but not completely, is the area, believe it or not, of global warming. Not that I say that global warming is entirely man-made or that the solution to it is cap and trade, but I think that the data stack up in favor of the idea that the climate is over time getting warmer, and also that man does have some sort of impact on it. Now that, again, doesn't state the solution. This is where it's really funny. There are a lot of folks on the left where I say, yeah, I think global warming is happening. I think that man's activity has something to do with it. People on the left are like, you're a denier. I'm like, well, wait, what? I didn't deny anything. They say, well, what you're a denier because you don't want cap and trade, or because you don't want massive, burdensome government regulations. Right, because my preferred solution is technological advancement in this area, as well as investments into infrastructure in different areas of the country, because it turns out the climate has been changing pretty radically over time for the past several billion years, and that human population patterns have been changing for several million years. So that's that's where the disconnect is. But whenever people provide me data, I try to at least think through whether I think that that should impact my point of view.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
The only person in the room shorter than I am.
Mr. Shapiro, thank you so much for being here first and foremost, and also I'm a master's student at Price. Thank you for standing up for Professor Moore.
Absolutely.
Obviously, with the climate. Obviously, in light of everything that's going on at the moment, we all believe rape and sexual assault are heinous crimes. We all want rapers behind bars.
There was a question that he was asked about saying that other cultures are better than other cultures, right? And he was just saying some cultures are better than others. And he acknowledged, he said that can be the effect of slavery, Jim Crow, and things like that, that cause has a negative effect. He actually acknowledged that shit. His answer and solution is probably near mine. We're very similar on our answer. That's where I am. I believe that Black people collectively are where they are for their actions as individuals, but collectively, if you had to look at the whole of Black people over the last 250 years in this nation, from Jim Crow to slavery to sundown towns to Fannie Mae and Freddie to COINTELPRO to, you know what I'm saying? It's just so much shit that can happen that had a total collective effect, which is actually where he's weak in the argument against reparations. But, he believes that, well, you can fix it as an individual, and you can. And I believe that message became proliferated in the Black community, we would then be strong enough to start going after reparations. But I believe that's why I'm actually for the conservative message, because I think it's the only way we're going to really get out of the rut that we're in financially and thus socially in a lot of areas and stuff is through independence, self-responsibility, self-reliance, accountability for one's actions, fiscal responsibility, social responsibility, not being able to just go out here and fuck willy-nilly and kill a baby, right? I think that's some shit we need. We need to stop abortion, because I think then women would understand. You got women right here that have 7 and 8 abortions, man. I kid you not. I've met women that have had 8 abortions. They gives no fucks. Like, they'll get pregnant with every boyfriend they get, they fucking with no condom. He busting nut, they don't want him to pull out. right? I know women that talk like that. Let the nigga nut in them on purpose. When they ovulate, get pregnant and go straight to the abortion clinic, drop the $500 and walk out. 2 days later, she's back like ain't nothing wrong, fucking again. That's how shit works.
But I feel that in this climate, logic, evidence, and data are kind of being lost in translation. And also there's a very pervasive, you're with us or against us mentality that's really doing a lot more harm than good. So my question to you is, how can we best stand up for the importance of due process and the presumption of innocence while also doing what we can to support survivors?
Yeah, and I ain't gonna keep showing this one, but that was a point of these are a few of the conservative people that I actually go and listen to. And I would advise you guys, once again, Milo Yiannopoulos is one of my favorites because he don't give a damn. He'll tell you what time it is. I'm looking for the video where Ben Shapiro came out and was like, I don't give a damn about your feelings. Like it was just savage. I loved it though. I love shit like that. Ben Shapiro is one of my favorites. Let me see if this is it. No. Is this it? Let me see. Let me see if this is it.
Sites are using that.
No.
To you with another
That's
video.
not it. I'm gonna find this video, and then if this isn't it, I'm gonna just go in the video. But it's one more video. Let's see.
I actually have two questions. The first one is, how do you account for like statistical manipulation when you present your facts that you presented in the beginning? So more specifically, when you were talking about percentages of Blacks in X, Y, and Z, and when you were talking about the differences in wages today versus 20 to 50 years ago, how do you?
Here you go. Check this out right here. This is funny. I love this clip. Watch this right here.
This is Ben Shapiro, Thug Life. Like, for one thing, I don't care about your feelings. Like, just be perfectly clear, I care nothing about your feelings. I don't want to hear about your feelings. I don't want to hear about your subjective emotions. I don't want to hear about your heart cries out. I don't care. You're not my wife. You're not my kid. I don't give a damn.
I love shit like that. Because that's how I feel. And a lot of times, black people, we are not just black people, I just can't stand that logic. I really can't. I despise that shit.
I don't care about your feelings. Like, just be perfectly clear. I care nothing about your feelings. I don't want to hear about your feelings. I don't want to hear about your subjective emotions. I don't want to hear about your heart cries out. I don't care. You're not my wife. You're not my kid. I don't give a damn.
Holocaust survivors weren't technically a nation. So no, Japanese internment camp survivors weren't a nation per se. So I disagree with that.
This is Ben Shapiro, Thug Life.
If Cal State LA's YAF to somehow get all the fascists together, such as Melina Abdullah, to come out here and be willing to open a forum with you and debate you, would you be willing to come back, even though Cal State LA has treated us all like crazies?
I'm happy to debate anywhere,
So he went to UC Berkeley, and when he went to UC Berkeley, they acted a damn fool out there. Now listen to him when he's talking about it.
Go out right now, you're actually going to be safe. So, I mean, for folks who are watching this online, people who know what's going on nationally, this is America.
Yeah, Jews are a nation, but they didn't give it. They gave it to Holocaust survivors, not all Jews. They gave it to Holocaust survivors. They gave it to internment camp people that were survivors of that in the 80s specifically. It wasn't to Japan. It wasn't to Israel.
Now, this is America now. Okay, and this is not a matter of cowardice for not stepping into a mob of 300 angry people out there. The cowardice is this administration that allows this garbage and evil to go on right here on American soil. Recognize that when the students cannot be guaranteed safety on their own campus from people who are outside whipping a mob into a frenzy over basic principles of free speech, it's time to stand up. It's time to fight. It's time to become part of a movement. Enough is enough. This cannot stand. This bullshit cannot stand.
So that's what I'm saying. This dude is one of my favorites because he goes hard. He drops it hard. He does.
Ben Shapiro thug life. You want to vote for Trump to stop Clinton? I've said I think for the next 4 years there's a good shot that Trump will be better than Clinton. I don't know that because nobody knows that.
Let me see. He's not a big fan of Trump.
For those who are watching online and can't hear what they're saying Black Lives Matter. I agree. So perhaps we should start spending your resources where Black people are being killed, namely by other Black people in the inner city.
I'm from the state of Florida, so
Ben Shapiro thug life.
I don't think you should fake. You should pretend to be something, to write something you don't believe in. Because you say no one will know, but you'll know, and you want to protect on yourself.
So this is a question of methodology versus. I mean, this is a question for me. I would rather that you lie on your tests, get straight A's, go to Harvard Law School, get out, make a lot of money, turn around and use your multi-millions of dollars to destroy all the people who are crushed.
This is what my niggas say. Yeah, don't be blowing.
And then every so often, President Obama decides to replace one scandal with another. The media loses interest. 2 years later, we're still asking the same questions. And then we're told, well, dude, that happened 2 years ago, right? Literally, he said that about Benghazi. Whenever there's a scandal, the time goes by, and we're supposed to kind of let that go. And the truth is that the policing organization here, the organization that was supposed to make sure criminality doesn't happen, is led by probably the worst criminal in the administration, Eric Holder, right? Who's actually been held in contempt by Congress. Well, he is a criminal. Trigger warning. This is Ben Shapiro thug life. The press can't stand Hillary. I mean, nobody on the left can really stand Hillary. They love Bill, but they can't stand Hillary. Basically, the press's relationship with Hillary is Bill's relationship with Hillary. Right? They're in a forced marriage, and they don't really like her very much, and they will cheat at the first available opportunity. But they have to be there because, hey, it's Hillary.
He's always getting people trapped in arguments and stuff. He's pretty good, man.
This is Ben Shapiro thug life. Dan Savage, he said, for example, that he wishes all the Republicans were effing dead. He has said about Green Party candidate, right? He's not just about right-wingers. He said about Green Party candidate Carl Romanelli in Pennsylvania. He said that he wanted Romanelli to be dragged behind a truck until there was nothing left but the rope. He's called Justice Scalia a seasucker. He said F John McCain. He said that he wants to F the S out of Rick Santorum. He said that he's called on Herman Cain to suck his blank. I mean, he's really one of the worst people on earth. And he's also just happens to be the White House's chosen spokesperson for the anti-bullying campaign.
Yeah, y'all want to check out Ben Shapiro, man. He's pretty good. Somebody asked me about Tim Pool. I have watched a few videos. It's been a while, so I really can't speak. What are they conserving? I love that question. First of all, and I'm gonna answer this and I'm gonna leave. What am I conservative since you call yourself a conservative? Good question. How about conserving the family values that the Black community once had? How about that? How about conserving the morality that we once had, the lack of feminist ideals that we once had before the 60s and 70s? Let's go back to that. And we don't necessarily have to conserve certain things. We can also say fiscally conservative. We talk about that. Get rid of some of these government social programs that destroyed the family. That's the thing I think we can conserve. Get rid of that. So conservatives are against that. I agree. Conservatives are also for school choice and parents having the ability to decide where they want their kids to go to school, which actually would be good because if all these Black hotel people can send their kids to, African-centered schools, right? And if you have a voucher for $8,000 a year, that'd be great. That'd actually be a business opportunity for a lot of Black women with these PhDs in education working as a damn school teacher. So how about we conserve that? Let's see what else. How about we conserve traditional marriage? How about we go back to the 80s and conserve where you as a parent had the right to decide if your child, son or daughter was forced to be, you had to at least make a decision. I don't want my son. Some kids I went to school with, their parents signed some paper, they couldn't go through sex education. That's something I would conserve. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can't do that without labeling yourself. See, that's the shit I'm talking about. People, words have meaning, people. That's what I'm talking about. People love to, and I'm not going at you, Apex Prowler, but people love to be contrarian, so I'm going to be contrary. You're not above the fray or somehow more on a higher moral ground because I'm not conservative, I'm not Democrat, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm just above it all. No, you're not. No, you're not. Words have meaning, okay? You can be, just because I say conservative does not mean I toe every line, right? I'm a conservative but I agree with certain points. Most of it is conservative. Some of it is not. Some conservatives don't like the fact that I'm for reparations. Some of them don't like, I don't even have a problem with segregation. I'm a different type of conservative. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that shit don't bother me. You can go back to all black shit. I'll be cool with that. Yeah, send all the black athletes to the HBCUs. Fuck going to the white colleges. Send all the best and brightest to Tuskegee. I have no problem with that. We would benefit as a people collectively if instead of taking them to Harvard and Yale and sucking them into white companies, don't even give them jobs. Let that black genius that runs these CEOs and people that are in these boardrooms that are black that run these white companies, let's have them come and start their own shit. Yeah, we gonna hurt, we gonna suffer if we are segregated, but shit, I'm for that. Because in time, we'll be strong when we got our own shit. You see what I'm saying? So just because I say conservative does not mean I'm 100% gonna toe a line like ABL would. I'm not saying it, I hadn't talked to ABL on every subject, but he seems to be like that. Or Brandon Tatum. I'm not like those brothers. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I can say conservative because for the most part on most issues, I'm conservative. That's what I mean. I agree with the conservative movement. It doesn't have to be, well, why do you have to give yourself a label? Because words have meaning. If I say conservative, you know damn well where I stand on gay marriage. If I say conservative, for the most part, you know where I stand on fiscal issues and pro-choice, pro-life. Most of that stuff, when you say conservative, you know exactly where I stand now. You don't have to ask. You don't have to guess. A few issues I may differ on, but for the most part, that's where I lean. I'm not for Marxism. I'm not for the destruction of the family. You see what I'm saying? I'm not for teaching your little boys to wear dresses and pick their own genders and shit like that. That's the difference. See, when you say liberal or progressive, that's what you say. And I can go show you, but that shit hard for me. I can't even hold my nose and listen to that bullshit. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? School choice is not an actual choice. Bodie Thug, you love to fuck with me, don't you? But you know what? I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Choosing what school you go to is actually a choice. That's just me. I don't see how you can say that's not a choice. If I want to send my son to African Center School or a Christian school or a Muslim school or whatever, that's a choice, man. You got a choice. I'm in the middle of the road, not being an asshole, just asking. You can be in the middle of the road, but I mean, middle of the road in what way? I mean, a lot of black people are for socialist programs, and that shit we've done that, and it's destroyed us. But they middle of the road, black people are for welfare. A lot of people, you need the safety net. That shit is destructive, and that's the problem. You know what? And I'm not going at you, Apex, again, but I have to say this. A lot of times when people are middle of the road, I lose respect because in my mind, you can't be in this climate right now in the middle of the road when you cut your television on and people are trying to indoctrinate you at every fucking turn to be a liberal, to think a certain way, demonizing people that don't think a certain way. And you in the middle of the road, I'm not in the middle. I don't have my mind made up. I know who I am. I know what I do. You know what I'm saying? White conservatives are for segregation. See, and that's what I'm talking about. When you said conservative in the 1940s and 50s, that was Democrat. And a lot of Democrats were for segregation. But there was no party switch. That's the lie these white liberals tell your ass. 7 people switch party. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. I know people from Mississippi. I know people from South Carolina. Black people voted for Democrats in the 1930s for the New Deal under FDR. See what I'm saying? But that's the shit that the old heads tell y'all. That's the shit that old heads tell you. I think it's either 7 or 15 people actually did a party switch. Also, if that worked for the South, why the fuck is motherfuckers in Chicago, New York, and California voting Democrat? Because we're not nuanced, man. We just children. See what I'm saying? We're not, Bodie Thug. We're not. You come on here and fuck with me, but I'm gonna keep knocking your ass up out of here with that shit. Growing pains. It is what it is. You keep coming. You keep coming. Conservative and productivity through business too. Exactly. Deion Sanders making moves through his first head coaching job at a historical back. Exactly. I would love to see that. Malcolm X was conservative. Many of Medicare views. Yeah, they were. Those guys actually, black people lean Republican. Well, not all of them. King was more Republican, but they called Jackie Robinson a coon because he told black folks in the 70s before he died not to be 100% Democrat. He thought that was stupid, and he was a coon for that. You know, it is what it is. Niggas ain't gonna give up them white women sub. They gonna, yeah. You right. You right, man. You right. Middle of the road is a label. Yeah. I don't think a lot of black people are middle of the road. I think black people have their minds made up. A lot of black people have not, and I'm not talking about nobody because I gotta go. So I'm not gonna start no shit. But a lot of black people are really still deep in the Democrat stronghold. They just know it's fucked up, right? So what they do is they say, I ain't no Democrat, I'm an independent. And then you talk to them and they, Donald Trump that, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. When Obama was in, they had shit to say, right? They wasn't independent then. They loved Obama. Man, Obama, man, I think, man, people can't afford healthcare, man. We need to. I'm like, Obama's a Marxist, man. The man said he want a single payer system. He looked people in their face and lied and said, you can keep your doctor knowing damn well that was a lie, right? Then he fought the individual mandate, which was a tax according to the Supreme Court. You could tell these niggas that they don't care. They don't care. They still supported him. That's why Obama got back in there, because a lot of people, they tried to act like they was independent, even a lot of black women, and they weren't, man. Black people love the shit that destroys them. The crack. If you're a junkie and you got heart problems and the doctor told you you can stop smoking crack and you still smoking the crack, that's black people. You know what I'm saying? We cannot leave these social programs alone. We believe in big government. A lot of us do. We don't think that the black family and the black social organizations, be it the church or private organizations that used to help black people when you couldn't make ends meet and shit, that shit was very strong back then. That actually stripped the church of its power. When you had the government come in and do a lot of that stuff, that's what it was, man. Y'all have a good one, man. I gotta go. Yeah, I saw Roland Martin crying, man. I saw that. I'm a Democrat, but I voted Republican governor of Maryland twice, and we'll do it again. Okay. Conservative. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all later.